Well, she has done it again. MAGA Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene posted something truly insane and dangerous. Now, the good part of this story, because I know you're already feeling annoyed and tense, the good part is she did get clowned on and roasted a lot after posting this, so I'll show that to you. Before I show you anything, though, this actually was prompted by something that Trump posted on Truth Social. Here it is. He said, "Wow, I just came out of the Biden witch hunt trial in Manhattan, the icebox, and was shown reports that crooked Joe Biden's DOJ and their illegal and unconstitutional raid of Mar-a-Lago authorizes the FBI to use deadly lethal force. Now we know for sure that Joe Biden is a serious threat to democracy. He's mentally unfit to hold office. 25th Amendment." Now, let's just set aside the projection on both the threat to democracy part and the mentally unfit part, because we've discussed that plenty in the past. Instead, let's move to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And as we're going through this, you probably can assume why they're being super dishonest and the details of that, but we'll get to the fact check of what's being said here a little bit later. Marjorie Taylor Greene responded to what Trump said, writing, "I made sure that he knew the Biden DOJ and FBI were planning to assassinate President Trump and gave the green light." So picture yourself as a MAGA world person, for lack of a better phrase, and you're following Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now you believe, if you believe her, which they do, that Biden signed off on the assassination of President Trump. And there's so much about this that is absurd, not the least of which being that right now Trump is arguing, not that Biden was trying to do this, but right now Trump is arguing in front of the Supreme Court that a president should have immunity to do such an assassination. So that's crazy. Then Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "Does everyone get it yet? What are Republicans going to do about it? I tried to oust our speaker who funded Biden's DOJ and FBI, but Democrats stopped it." A reminder that in service of Trump, she continues to try to defund federal law enforcement. The defund the police party, represented by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now let's just get to a few of the responses that we've seen. Then I'll show you a CNN legal analyst fact checking this dangerous claim as well. And the reason I emphasize that is because think about what you would find justified, how you would act if you genuinely believed Biden tried to assassinate Trump, and where that places Trump in your mind and the victimhood complex they have. But here, Jules Morgan said, "Let me get this straight." This is a funny point too. When the FBI is serving a search warrant with weapons that they have the authority to use to protect themselves against death or serious bodily harm, it's an assassination attempt. But when you carry an AR-15 or other weapons, it's to defend yourself. Do I have that right? And there's a photo attached, probably from one of Marjorie Taylor Greene's campaign ads, where she finds it appealing to her constituents to just shoot things, and that's why she would be a good congresswoman somehow. Then Keith Olbermann wrote, A, Trump wasn't there. You enfeebled imbecile, goodness gracious. B, these rules apply to every FBI search, everyone. And he goes further, but I'm not going to read that. Then John Jackson said, "I thought presidents had absolute immunity, so Biden can't be arrested. The irony comes in waves, truly." And quickly, before going any further, please make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. We've seen such incredible growth over the last few weeks and months, and I appreciate that greatly. Join the community by clicking the subscribe button. The fact checker account wrote, "Fact checking, Marjorie Taylor Greene is accusing President Biden of conspiring to assassinate Donald Trump. She is committing a crime here. Goodness, making a false accusation of a conspiracy to commit murder is a serious offense." And then, my favorite one, just simply, I don't know why this makes me laugh. "You're such a nincompoop." High-minded insults, as you can see there. But the real fact check on this is what I'm sure, and you saw some of this in the responses, you already know, which is this is sort of standard operating procedure if a search warrant like this is being executed, which is, yes, FBI law enforcement individuals bring weapons. MAGA should be fine with that. But in the search warrant and the language that they derived this insane freakout from, it actually restricts the use of lethal force. So it's saying only if there's imminent danger of serious bodily harm or death can the officers use these weapons. Okay, I mean, that's just so standard and is not unique to the Mar-a-Lago search warrant, but they, like we see so often, have distorted it. And it is interesting, as one of the people pointed out, they're all about weapons for self-defense. And so then the Back the Blue people now have a huge issue with law enforcement officers having weapons for self-defense, which is what the search warrant, the language they're referring to, restricts this weaponry to. And then I want to show you Ron Filipkowski pointing out that he's fundraising off of this now, talking about Trump. He wasn't there. They knew he wasn't there. America in this insanity in November, and is referencing an email that was sent by Trump's campaign saying they were authorized to shoot me. I nearly escaped death. Biden's DOJ was locked and loaded for deadly force to Mar-a-Lago. I'll read you more of that in just a little bit. But first, here is Elliot Honig on CNN fact-checking this.
I wanted to ask y'all about it because this isn't the classified documents case that Trump is dealing with. He is now coming out and saying on Truth Social, Ellie, that Joe Biden's DOJ authorized the FBI to use deadly lethal force against me. Marjorie Taylor Greene is taking it. She's saying that they were planning to assassinate President Trump and gave the green light. I won't even mention that Trump's attorneys are arguing to the Supreme Court right now that technically the president has that authority. But obviously, that's not true. The FBI had to put out a statement today saying this is standard procedure, that the FBI always has lethal force. They showed up to Mar-a-Lago knowing Donald Trump wasn't there. They didn't show up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They didn't come, with the lights flashing and the guns blazing. It was a very chill scene for a scene where they were showing up to find classified documents.
This is ridiculous. There's nothing to see here. And I looked even at what specifically they're talking about. If you look at the search warrant documentation, there is a standard form. It's page 11 of the sheet. And it gives the FBI and the generally acknowledged standard for use of lethal force. It says, essentially, you can only fire your weapon, you can only use lethal force if there is imminent danger of death or serious bodily injury to somebody else. If you see somebody else about to shoot somebody, about to stab somebody. It is, if anything, a very tight limit on when you can use lethal force. Almost never. It appears in every search warrant, every operational plan, ops plan. There is nothing to this. The notion that there's something dangerous, wrong, I'm hesitant to even dignify the assassination talk by even mentioning it, but completely out of line.
Yeah, so absolutely correct there from Ellie Honig. And it is really frightening how easily people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, people like Trump, right-wing media, is able to throw the facts aside and push whatever seems like the most provocative narrative. Because to us, we think, oh, that's kind of crazy, saying that Biden wanted to assassinate Trump. But it's not true, so we can move on with our day. But other people don't have the second thought. It's true. That's what Biden wanted to do, and that now helps to characterize who Biden is, what the left stands for, what is being done to Trump. And you build one claim like this after another, and you get this series of layers of ideas that build the foundation of the belief system that many of these MAGA folks are bought into. So then when we try to understand why is it that they would look at all the evidence being brought against Trump, look at all these cases, look at all that Trump has said and done, and still support him, well, this is years in the making of false ideas that then give this perception of Trump to the MAGA people that is so far from the truth. And this is one example of that, where Trump is being so wronged in their mind that he nearly escaped death, according to Trump. And I'll read this fundraising email a little bit further. Breaking from Trump, Biden's DOJ was authorized to shoot me. It's just been revealed that Biden's DOJ was authorized to use deadly force for their despicable raid in Mar-a-Lago. Think about how weird this is. He's trying to get people to believe that there's some bombshell about how Biden's DOJ was authorized to shoot him, when actually the language they're getting it from is explicitly restricting when deadly force can be used, only in cases of serious bodily harm or death being threatened. Then you have, they're just itching to do the unthinkable. Joe Biden was locked and loaded, ready to take me out and put my family in danger. He thinks he can frighten me, intimidate me, and knock me down. But worst of all, they think their thug tactics will cause proud supporters like you to abandon me. But here's the one thing they don't know. We will never surrender. Biden's corrupt regime needs to get the message right here, right now, that our patriotic movement cannot be stopped. And it goes down and then obviously asks for money. So you have people who, and it's frightening to even get into this part of the conversation, but polling reveals are disproportionately believing that violence may be necessary to enact their political ambitions. And they're now being told that really what you would do would be almost in self-defense because they tried to do that to Trump. And we have to be sounding the alarm about that, and have to be sounding the alarm about what it could look like in November if Trump does indeed lose, and then lies about it, which he's obviously going to. And you add the lies about the quote unquote lawfare, as they call it, his legal cases, you know they're going to roll out the widespread fraud lies again, and who knows what else. And then ideas like this in the heads of people, it is very scary. And that's why we need to try to reach people and explain that a lot of this is built on the foundation of lies that I was referencing earlier. But there it is, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump claiming that Biden attempted to assassinate Trump when it was just your boilerplate guidelines for a lawful search warrant. The back the blue people are now very much against law enforcement. And let me know what you thought of all that in the comments.